And we are live.
Hi guys, good evening. Welcome back to Olympics on My Mind. I hope everyone has been enjoying the Asian Games so far. We're almost 5 days into Asian Games, fifth or sixth, I think. Sixth day
Sixth
today,
day.
right?
6 day, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So like slightly over one third of the games already over. Shooting भी खत्म होने वाला है. I just realized while I was speaking about it. So maybe we are going to once it ends in a couple of days, we are definitely going to miss it the way
Hmm.
things have been. But yes, it's been not mixed. A lot of stuff to talk about. There have been slight disappointments, but those are always there, right? So we are going to talk about all the sports. We are going to touch upon how things have shaped up so far. Yes, let's get started, Kapil. Where do you want to begin with?
Yeah, so been a quite a few good days. Overall, I think you have given your overall perspective only. मेरे को भी मजा ही आ रहा है. It's been nice. Obviously, mixed results होते हैं, positive results and negative results. And yeah,
Hmm.
in terms of starting, I mean, I remember we ended our last stream with me asking कि कल सुबह 5:30 बजे इक्वेस्ट्रियन में कौन उठ रहा है. So I
Hmm.
think it makes sense कि let's start from there
Okay, go on.
because probably the biggest upset at least I can remember. मतलब medal is one thing, लेकिन सीधा gold निकाल के लेके आई team. And
Hmm.
ठीक है, obviously neither I nor you follow equestrian that much. And I'm sure there might be some equestrian people out there who saying, oh, it was not that big an upset, it was not a surprise. हम लोग अच्छे हैं ये वो. But at least from a fan perspective, from an outside perspective, that is by far the biggest upset I've seen. मतलब इनफैक्ट नॉट जस्ट इन दिस टूर्नामेंट, मतलब इतना शौक तुझे और कभी लगा है पहले? मेरे को याद नहीं आता है.
Look, I am not at all connected with the sport in any sort of manner. So I don't know the pedigree of other countries. I don't know how the other competition
हम्म,
stands, right?
हम्म,
So अगर मैं देखता भी तो अपने सेल्फ एंजॉयमेंट के लिए देखता, बट ऑनेस्टली नॉट मच ऑफ एन आइडिया देयर टू really comment about it.
नहीं ठीक है. आई वॉज डेफिनेटली शॉक्ड. एंड बाय द वे, सिद्धांत सिंह के मैं तो रेस वॉक के लिए उठा था. मैं भी कल बाई चांस उठ गया था. मैं को मेरा प्लान नहीं था लेकिन नींद खुल गई रेस वॉक के लिए. मतलब कल नहीं, आज, सॉरी. रेस
Hmm.
वॉक के लिए ऑलरेडी कल लगता है दिन खत्म हो गया एशियन गेम्स का तो. हाँ, सो
Hmm.
या इक्वेस्ट्रियन में एटलीस्ट ठीक है. देयर इज दैट थिंग के इफ यू वॉच ड्रेसाज, it's fine, it's enjoyable, लेकिन it's मतलब you don't understand anything क्योंकि it's a highly technical sport. मैंने ये भी नोटिस किया, जो कमेंटेटर था, even he was not really sure कि whether a horse rider is getting good marks or getting bad marks. एक दो बार हुआ है, he has said कि okay, he should not be able to match the lead, let's say lead 66, as he said कि okay, lead में तो नहीं जा पाएगा, and then suddenly score आता है 68, and he's like okay, hello, even I didn't know. So
It's subjective assessment, no? I
नहीं,
mean, it's
नहीं, it's
subjective
actually a very
maybe
technical assessment apparently. मतलब
based on a few technicalities, but ultimately there are people sitting there and
या हाँ,
scoring those, right?
मतलब the feeling I got most closest to is gymnastics. So
Exactly,
gymnastics,
yes.
हाँ, so you are
That's
you
what
are
I had in my mind.
हाँ, so you have people sitting there judging, but there's like a very defined code of points and everything कि okay, जैसे नी स्प्लिट होता है तो इसके इतने पॉइंट काटेंगे, अगर है ना एक पैर हिल गया तो इतने काटेंगे. तो वैसे भी इट्स लाइक कि ना, अगर वो ट्रांजिशन करते हुए स्टटर हुआ तो इतने काटेंगे. यहाँ पे
Hmm.
ना टाइमिंग वाइज अगर उसका 5 सेकंड से ऑफ हो गया तो इतने काटेंगे. सो इट्स लाइक दे हैव बीन गिवन अ वेरी प्लान्ड रूटीन के यू हैव टू डू दिस एट दिस टाइम, एंड वॉट एवर यू डाइवर्ट यू कट मार्क्स.
Hmm.
सो उस हिसाब से इट्स लाइक या द बिग सरप्राइज ऑब्वियसली वाज के मेडल आया होता, दैट वुड हैव बीन वन थिंग. मेडल ही नहीं, सीधा गोल्ड लेके आए.
Hmm.
एंड फॉर मी द बिग जॉ ड्रॉपिंग मोमेंट आई रिमेम्बर कि जब मैंने देख रहा था, तुम्हें तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं देखा क्या, कि थोड़ा बहुत इधर उधर देखा?
No, not really.
हाँ, सो फॉर मी द मोस्ट जॉ ड्रॉपिंग मोमेंट वाज पहले दिन. वो द थर्ड अपना राइडर, हृदय चड्डा, ओके. सो ही केम इन, and apparently there's some rule ke you give an indication कि okay, I'm ready to go, and once you give an indication कि I'm ready to go, you have to get into the arena in like 45 seconds.
Hmm.
Okay, so matlab the gate has been opened, his horse has to get into the arena, and for that 45 seconds his horse is sort of going wild. वो
ओके,
मतलब 3-4 बार
कंट्रोल
यहाँ
में नहीं आ रहा।
बिल्कुल कंट्रोल में नहीं आ रहा है, 3-4 बार ऐसे जा रहा है, घूम के आ रहा है, एवरीथिंग हो रहा है, कमेंटेटर इज लाइक ये घुस भी पाएगा कि नहीं, एंड देन ही जस्ट अबाउट गॉट इन, ओके, 45 सेकंड्स में, you're ठीक है, एंड यू आर थिंकिंग कि ठीक है घुस तो गया, बट इज नॉट गोना हैव अ गुड स्कोर, राइट, मतलब कि अगर हॉर्स इतना वाइल्ड हो रखा है, हॉर्स इतना आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल है, सो हॉर्स इज इट्स नॉट प्रोबेबली गोना बी अ गुड स्कोर, एंड देन द इवेंट एंडेड एंड स्कोर आया इन इवेंट राइट इनटू द लीड, एंड हम लाइक हाँ, ये क्या हुआ, आई लिटरली वेंट हाँ, he went into the lead, the team went into the lead, मैं बोला ये क्या हुआ, and that was when I tweeted the first time about equestrian, and then of course वो उसके बाद तो फिर equestrian ही चल रहा था एटलीस्ट मेरा उस दिन,
Yeah,
so
and I think so. Obviously, मैंने देखा नहीं, but the background story around the team and the struggles that they faced to reach here, with everything going on with the federation not being supportive, I think that had a nice ring to it. कि हाँ,
yeah,
इतने struggles के बाद
hmm,
you kept believing in yourself.
hmm,
You were still motivated enough that you need to go to the Asian Games and perform, and
hmm,
straight up gold. So
hmm.
that story in itself was a great thing, no?
या एंड आई मीन मतलब फेडरेशन ने जितने कारनामे किए ना, अगेन अब अगेन वी डोंट रियली अंडरस्टैंड हाउ द क्वालिफिकेशन एंड एवरीथिंग वर्क्स, बट जितना मैंने थोड़ा बहुत जो मुझे समझ में आया कि इतने इतने कारनामे किए हैं कि दे wanted everybody to come to India because a lot of these riders they train in Europe because that's the base of equestrian. So a lot of these riders they train in Europe. They want the federation wanted everybody to come to India with their horses, which is a big deal कि horses को तुम पूरा ट्रांसपोर्ट करो कि हम इंडिया में ही ट्रायल करेंगे, तो इट्स लाइक सबको बुलाया इंडिया, फिर उनको पता चला कि हॉर्सेज इंडिया से चाइना नहीं जा सकते, तो नाउ इट्स लाइक अब वापस यूरोप जाओ, फिर यूरोप में जाके हमने ना डिसाइड किया कि यार इंडिया में तो ट्रायल हुआ नहीं, अब यूरोप में जाके हम वापस ट्रायल करेंगे बिकॉज हॉर्सेज हैव नाउ डन अनदर जर्नी, और फिर फवाद मिर्जा का चल रहा था, ही सेड कि मैं इंडिया नहीं आ सकता बिकॉज माई हॉर्स कैन नॉट टेक इट, ही इज डन कॉम्पिटिशन, ही नीड्स रेस्ट, और फिर है ना, सो बट यू एलिमिनेटेड मी, ठीक है, एलिमिनेशन तो एलिमिनेशन, देन इंडिया का ट्रायल तो तुमने रद्द कर दिया, अब यूरोप में कर दो, तो अब तो मेरे को आने दो, तब भी नहीं आने दिया, मतलब ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ क्रैप वाज गोइंग ऑन,
Yeah,
इतना क्रैप मतलब किसी फेडरेशन में देखा नहीं है मैंने, लेकिन आई गेस दे गेट अवे विद इट बिकॉज नोबडी अंडरस्टैंड्स एनीथिंग.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's not much following still, and why it's a heavily, Europe dominated sport.
And also a
Olympics से
very
इतना connection नहीं
financially
है.
intensive sport, right?
Absolutely. Yes,
Because
yes.
I actually still remember, Virendra Skin of OGQ, he had done some interview long back. Okay, long back
Mm-hmm.
मतलब बोले तो 5-6 साल पहले. So he had done some interview long back and he had been asked के how do you decide which sports to support? And in the answer he gave, one of his points was ke we should be able to make a difference. And he specifically gave an example about equestrian. कि equestrian might be a great sport and whatever, but the point is कि उसमें इतना पैसा लगता है, it is so expensive कि we don't have the funds to properly support equestrian.
Yeah,
Even if
yeah.
those guys are
So
really good, we can't support them.
it's simple, right? It's kind of barrier to entry towards a sport, which is considered by SAI as well as these NGOs. So it's a major factor whenever they decide on supporting a sport, right? अब equestrian में barrier to entry है ही इतना, you need so much of resources that
Yeah,
not everyone can enter it.
exactly. So yeah,
Yeah,
वही था मतलब, and then even individual में फिर hopes पड़ गई थी, but still
yeah.
I'm
Kapil,
हाँ
I think we can move on. We don't
हाँ
have a lot of
हाँ,
time.
नहीं नहीं,
Let's
we'll
move
move
on
on,
to
yeah,
another
हाँ
sport, right?
हाँ नहीं, I was just making that final point कि individual में hopes बढ़ गई थी, but still there was a DQ as well, unfortunate, but still we returned with another medal there also.
Hmm.
तो मतलब yeah, for me equestrian was let's say the feel good story of the games, other than
So,
what you want to talk about most, which is
are we done with
shooting.
equestrian or there are
नहीं,
still events
other
left?
than what you want to talk about, which is shooting. So go ahead.
No, no, I'm asking
अच्छा
equestrian
इक्वेशन
is
में हाँ,
done from Indian standpoint या कुछ events बचे हैं?
नहीं नहीं, सो इक्वेस्ट्रियन में बेसिकली 3 इवेंट होते हैं, वन इज ड्रेसाज, वन इज इवेंटिंग, वन इज जंपिंग.
Yeah.
ड्रेसाज इज डन, लास्ट टाइम जो हम लोग के 2 सिल्वर्स आए थे दे केम इन इवेंटिंग. इवेंटिंग इज स्टार्टिंग टुमारो अगेन एट 5:30. And
Okay.
eventing is like you can say your decathlon kind of thing. So
Hmm.
eventing itself has 3 things. The first thing is dressage. तो कल ड्रेसाज
Okay.
है, फिर क्रॉस कंट्री होगा, फिर जंपिंग होगा. सो इवेंटिंग
Okay.
इज कंपोज्ड ऑफ 3 थिंग्स, एंड देन
Okay.
फाइनली फिर इंडिविजुअल जंपिंग होगा लेटर, मतलब ओनली
So
जंपिंग.
Looking forward to it then. Are you
हाँ,
going to wake up tomorrow as well?
प्लान तो है, अभी देखते हैं, या बट प्लान तो है।
Mm.
एनीवेज वो इट्स लाइक वो 5:30 का तो वो भी हो जाता है ना कि इट्स लाइक 6:30 तो उठना ही है शूटिंग के लिए, 1 घंटा जल्दी और सही।
Okay. Yeah, since you've touched upon shooting, I think it's been talk of the town.
या
It should be discussed, and finally something, you know, the pieces are falling together, and whatever we had expected, that those expectations have also exceeded. I think in our preview we spoke about that at least Olympic standpoint say, in the individual events, it'll be difficult for us to beat what we did in the last Asian Games. But I think that barrier has also been crossed now, and overall the entire team is performing really well. So yeah, good stuff. Couple of more events to go. I think uh, hopefully the momentum carries on. यहाँ से we have a Asian qualification tournament coming up in November. Is it? When is it? Any idea? I think November or
या
December. It
नहीं,
right?
दिसंबर नहीं है, इट्स ईदर अक्टूबर और नवंबर, मोस्टली नवंबर ओनली।
Right, right. So if Asian Games are a bit of an indicator, obviously it's been India versus China, right? And you've been putting out some fantastic stats on Twitter, India versus China. They're exchanging the pole positions and all of that. So yeah, going by that, I think important Asian championship for us coming up because China से ही टक्कर रही है throughout the Asian Games, and the third team has been a slightly far only, collectively speaking. So yeah, uh, couldn't have asked for anything more, right? Of course,
या
there is a huge disappointment which everyone wants to talk about. स्वप्निल के साथ जो हुआ, but I think like especially in 53p. You also tweeted, I don't think it can be considered as even an accident. It is something usually which we see quite often. Won't say a lot of times, but it is seen quite often, and these things happen. In 53p का यही है ना, the beauty about that event is till the last shot you don't know when this 7 or a 8 pointer is coming. It can happen to anyone.
या
Unfortunately, it happened with Swapnil.
Yeah, I agree. 50 CPM, and in fact, I will further that. Ki, matlab, Swapnil is also, you can say, okay, the disappointing part was he was leading and he was dominating the final, and then एक 7.6 आ गया. But I mean, had he not been leading itself, then it wouldn't have been a disappointment, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I
matlab,
think, Kapil, this is the right moment where, because I feel there are a lot of youngsters who watch our stream and who follow us on Twitter and, have jumped now to so many events, in particular shooting. I think right time to plug in that Matthew Imon's story. Do you want to just briefly touch upon it?
yeah, so the
Maybe वहाँ से they'll be able to relate how this 53p event works.
yeah, so it's not just 53p, it's also related to this aspect which a lot of Indians believe कि ये हमारे साथ ही ऐसा क्यों होता है? Why is it always कि हमारी गन जाती है, या फिर we only have bad luck, we always miss out by point one, we always end up fourth,
उसका
ये
तो
हमारे
सिंपल फंडा है ना, बिकॉज वी आर कीपिंग अ ट्रैक ऑफ आवर
एग्जैक्टली
शूटर्स,
हाँ
so obviously we end up remembering their scores.
एग्जैक्टली यू आर नॉट गोना रिमेम्बर कि वो 10 मीटर एयर पिस्टल में हम लोग को है ना जस्ट 1 पॉइंट से हम लोग ने गोल्ड निकाला टीम का, वो याद नहीं रहेगा, लेकिन जो फोर्थ आया वो याद रहेगा क्योंकि दैट हर्ट्स, दैट इज जस्ट द वे इट वर्क्स। और कविता बोल रही कि यू वेबर इज इन लव विद दैट स्टोरी। So, anyways, the story basically goes that Matthew Emmons was a US shooter, and it happened with him twice, not once, in two consecutive Olympics. It happened with him that only a last shot was left, and he needed just like a very basic score, like maybe an 8 or 7 or something, to get the gold. And
Even less than 7. So for
uh,
Beijing Olympics, I can see it is in front of me right now.
hmm,
Last shot remaining, he was leading with 3.3 points with the
hmm.
last shot to go, and
So
he
more or
did a
less a 7.
4.4. Yeah,
So more or less he needed a 7 and he did a what?
4.4.
Hmm. And वो 4.4 कहाँ से आया था? We don't know, right? I know once what happened is he shot on his neighbor's target.
Different target, yes.
Yeah,
So
he shot.
once that happened, the other time this 4.4 came because he apparently pushed the trigger earlier than he usually does.
So the accidental shot, मतलब he was not ready to shoot, वो दब गया गलती से basically.
गलती से, right?
हाँ, so मतलब the same shooter, it happened with him in two consecutive Olympics on the last shot. Okay, तो it's not कि सिर्फ हमारे साथ होता है ये
Mm.
सबके साथ होता है. It is a nature of shooting. And yeah, Swapnil ka obviously that 1 7.6 come, you don't know कि he actually shot actually shooting में गड़बड़ हो गई, or maybe it was some sort of an accidental shot or something. But yeah, 50-meter 3P में eights तो आते हैं, sevens are still pretty rare at the top level, but eights तो आते हैं.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And
but yeah,
I must say, honestly speaking, didn't even notice when, this entire 53P was building up for last 1 or 2 years, because ऐसा तो है नहीं overnight they have, reached this position.
नहीं.
Obviously, for me, both the air rifle events were the main ones for us. But going forward, I think we have to absolutely take into consideration the 53P only. I would rate them at par with 10-meter air rifle now, how things stand.
Yeah, with you on that. I mean, I remember, 50-meter 3P is also the event, the only event so far we have already secured two Olympic quotas. And I had tweeted that, कि if you actually thought that this will be the first event where we get two quotas, wo bhi with Aishwarya not getting one, and
Yeah,
if you actually predict that, you are probably a liar. ये
yeah,
किसी ने नहीं सोचा था. But yeah, 3P guys have done great. In fact, shooting, I don't think it is even debatable at this point कि the shooters have shown up for this Asian Games. जो
yeah, they
हमेशा
have.
बोलते रहते हैं ना कि ये प्रेशर है, ये लोग हमेशा जो नरेटिव बन गया है अभी आफ्टर टोक्यो कि इट्स लाइक they can't handle pressure. This time they have shown everything. They have come here, they have taken China head on. uh, Team event में they have matched them. Individual maybe also we have two goals. ठीक है, it's not China level, but we
Mm,
have two goals. आज third almost था, लेकिन ठीक है, it's fine. Even two goals is pretty good, which is by the way the same as last time. Even last time Asian Games में individual में we had only two goals.
yeah,
और टीम
yeah.
गोल तो तू बोलता ही रहता है कि कभी मिला ही नहीं है.
Mm.
So the
कभी नहीं
shooter,
मिला.
हाँ, I mean for स्वप्निल also, मतलब ठीक है, स्वप्निल hurt के गोल्ड होते होते नहीं हुआ. But for me, if there was one event which was disappointing, it was the mixed team air rifle event. And I'm not
Mm,
saying just the bronze medal match. For me, the most disappointing aspect was that we finished sixth in the qualification, which we really have no business finishing sixth in the qualification. So
mm,
for me, that was the most disappointing aspect. Bronze आया होता तो at least ये हो जाता कि ठीक है चलो sixth आए, लेकिन medal तो आ गया फिर भी. But sixth आने के बाद भी then we were leading, and we couldn't close it out. So for me, that if there is one disappointment in shooting, it was that event. Not even Swapnil today. Swapnil जैसा होता है.
correct.
But yeah,
So, ठीक है, मतलब still a couple of days more to go. We'll see how where we end up. एक चीज मैंने देखी, so I think again someone had posted on Twitter also that how far ahead China is in terms of their collective shooting squad. You remember that stat? I
yeah,
can't recall who had posted,
yeah. Go
but
ahead.
20 years before they started winning those world championship golds and stuff. So obviously the level that they are right now, it takes a lot, and we are just beginning to reach that level. So China definitely is not the benchmark to compare ourselves, but still we have taken them head on. So definitely a lot of positives to take from here. फॉर इंस्टेंस मैं आज ही जैसे आज ही के फाइनल की अगर बात करूं, सो इन आई थिंक फोर्थ और फिफ्थ लास्ट शॉट डू लिंचू ही हैड अ 9.4 और अ 9.5. ठीक
Hmm.
है. It was that moment where Aishwarya and him got very close to each other, and although Swapnil was still leading, उस 9.4 के बाद what did do लिंचू do? 10.7, 10.8, 10.6. एंड मतलब सीरीज में दैट वाज हिज रिकवरी. मतलब these are the small nuances which I still feel our Indian shooters are still missing, कि अगर ऐसा कोई लास्ट मोमेंट पे सेटबैक होता है, can we come back in this manner? So yeah, obviously there is a lot of room for improvement as well.
Yeah, ठीक है, but I mean, I would say even after all that final shot पे Aishwarya was what, point 0.8 behind. So point 0.8 behind, you are still in the hunt. Point 0.8 behind and do shot a 9.8. So
Yeah.
10.7 would have still given you the gold. Okay, it's
Yeah.
very difficult to shoot a 10.7. And even Swapnil, despite shooting a 7.6, he missed the medal by only point 0.1, which
Hmm.
is which is maybe what hurts more. Okay,
Yeah.
I think 7.6 के बाद straight he next shot he had a very high score. Maybe next or
Hmm.
next to next shot, he had a pretty high score. So
Okay.
he because he had after 7.6 he had dropped to fifth, and next shot
Hmm.
was the elimination shot. So वहाँ पे he survived, and then other two shots में again he had come back to third within just point 0.1.
Hmm.
तो मतलब उसमें भी रिकवरी थी वहाँ पे, बट
Yeah.
या
Yeah.
जस्ट वाजंट इनफ. और पॉइंट 1 का तो तुम क्या बोल सकते हो, कुछ नहीं बोल सकते हो, राइट? इट्स जस्ट
Hmm.
लक ओनली.
Samrat here is saying it was his tweet, by the way. So yeah, great stat, Samrat. It was, yeah,
हाँ.
cleared the picture.
By the way, yeah, this I'll say. Niken is asking, what do you guys think about the annoying shooting telecast? And yeah, it's
Yeah,
one
it's
of those
annoying. Pretty
pet peeves.
annoying.
Why can't they just use the ISSF graphics यार? पेरिस वालों को बताओ जाके कोई प्लीज,
Hmm.
सिर्फ ISSF के ग्राफिक्स यूज कर लो यार, इतने मस्त ग्राफिक आते हैं यहाँ पे. बाजू में ना कंप्यूटर खोल के बैठना पड़ता है कि स्कोर्स क्या चल रहा है.
हाँ, इवन व्हेन एलिमिनेशन इज गोइंग ऑन तो वहां पे भी वो टॉप टू शूटर्स का पहले दिखाते हैं एंड देन द लास्ट शॉट दे शो ऑफ एलिमिनेशन. तब
आई
तक पता ही नहीं चलता हाउ थिंग्स माइट हैव चेंज्ड.
आई रिमेम्बर बीच में एक तो कोई इवेंट हुआ था, बिकॉज दे आर नाउ जीरोड इन ऑन दिस फैक्टर कि एलिमिनेशन में फर्स्ट शॉट में टॉप टू दिखा और नेक्स्ट वाले में लास्ट टू दिखा. सो देयर वाज सम इवेंट, आई डोंट नो रिमेम्बर विच वन, जिसमें टॉप टू डिडंट चेंज, इट वाज कंसिस्टेंट. सो इट वाज लाइक शूटर्स नंबर जो बीच के शूटर्स हैं उनको फीचर किया ही नहीं है पूरे फाइनल में. It's like
या
every time you feature 1 2, then you feature 7 8. 7 8 का 7 बच जाता है, you feature the same 1 2, then 6 7. जो शूटर लाइक 3 4 5 वो फीचर हुए ही नहीं पूरे फाइनल में. So yeah, it is very irritating, but ठीक है, क्या कर सकते हैं. But yeah, on the whole, except for that one air rifle mixed team event, I think shooting has done very well. And yeah, I just wanted to say before closing on shooting के you तेरी बहुत सिल्वर टंग है, तो भैया तू थोड़े नाम और ले दे. मन्नू भाकर का नाम लिया था, वो टीम गोल्ड जिता गई. ऐश्वर्या का नाम लिया था, वो 4 मेडल लेके बैठा है 2 गोल्ड के साथ. तो थोड़े नाम और ले दे.
सी मैंने वो नाम लिए थे बिकॉज दीज वर द शूटर्स हु आई वाज लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू इन पर्टिकुलर बिकॉज दोज टू आर फेवरेट्स ऑफ माइन. तो अभी तो बचा ही गया, ट्रैप बचा है और 10 मीटर एयर पिस्टल बचा है
हाँ,
मिक्स.
तो उसमें भी कोई फेवरेट्स होंगे, बोल दो भाई.
अभी अभी तो कुछ भी आ जाए चलेगा.
क्योंकि मेरा तो पूरा उल्टा हो गया, मतलब आई सेट के रिदम होपफुली शी कैन गेट अ फाइनल, गेट ओवर द फाइनल ब्लूज, एंड शी बिकेम द थर्ड शूटर हु हैड टू मिस आउट द फाइनल. And then I had said Ganimat Sekha, who has probably had a worse tournament in recent times.
Yeah, both mixed as well as
Uh,
her individual.
by the way, that is another disappointment which we didn't mention. Skeet women and mixed team. Essentially, Ganimat Sekha has been a disappointment. Skeet women में
I
भी और
don't
mixed
know.
team में
I
भी.
won't say it as a disappointment because effectively उन्होंने as such कुछ इतना achieve भी नहीं किया है ना. They are still at a very beginning stage where okay improvements हैं. They are improving,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's not like they are anyways closer to the medal level.
Yeah, sure, that is fine, but it at least she, मतलब मेरा point वही, at least I felt के even based on what she has done, it was her one of her worst events in recent times, probably
Hmm.
her worst event in recent times.
Yeah.
And उसी के स्कोर से मतलब it's like mixed shooting women team में भी medal just about शूटा, and mixed team में भी it's like the top 6 qualify for medal matches, we were like 7th. So
Hmm.
she was only the difference between at least competing for the medals and not competing for the medals.
Hmm. Okay, one last thing. 10.9 is already made, his or her expectations that Sifat Kaur is going favorite for Paris Gold. So first of all, we don't even have a quota right now. Even that is not a
नहीं नहीं
surety.
नहीं नहीं, एक मिनट, सिफ्ट कॉल सामरा हैज अ कोटा, शी वन लास्ट
Oh,
ईयर.
she has. Okay,
या
so we have one quota in totality.
सिफ्ट को,
ठीक है.
एंड सिफ्ट ओनली हैज वन इट.
Sifat has won it. Okay, great. In the present World Championship.
यप यप.
चलो ठीक है. But still, my point is there is a 9 months of period to go for
हाँ हाँ.
Paris, and Paris is a altogether different ball game. This is only Asian Games. Our battle was only against China. There would be 10 different countries which are equivalent to China, with the entire Europe, US, coming in. So let's not take it for granted that Asian Games में gold जीता है तो वो guaranteed है. ultimately she will have to repeat such level of performance. That is when she can, expect of a goal.
And for me, I mean, the biggest factor for her right now will be that now the expectations will start from her. So far she was largely unknown, even though she got the quota in वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप. जैसे वेबर
Hmm.
भी बोला कि हम लोग का भी 50 मीटर थ्री पे ध्यान नहीं था, मेन पे ही नहीं था, वुमेन तो फिर दूर की बात है. I think we also said in our stream that along with 25-meter rapid fire, 50-meter 3P women is maybe weak. So
Yeah.
she will now have to bear the load of expectations as well. And plus
Yeah,
9 months
that
में
is
तो
there.
anyways things change in shooting. बहुत
Yeah, of course. And even her position in the Indian squad or whosoever is going to
हाँ.
represent India in Paris is not
Yeah,
finalized.
वो
That
तो
is a different selection process altogether.
and it's a full merry-go-round at the moment. It's like you have 6 7
Yeah.
shooters, कोई भी आ सकता है.
Yeah. See, shooting mein basic funda is the probability of us getting medal will increase only if we hunt in a pack. So ultimately, if we are sending some 10-15 shooters which can
Hmm.
give you a gold any given day, that is when the probability increases, not pertaining to one particular shooter.
Exactly.
That's what I
Yeah,
feel.
yeah, perfect. I mean, if you have 10 medal contenders, maybe three of them will get a medal or two of them will get a medal.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Right, right.
And yeah, by the way, I think Sandeep had said a very valid point that we can't close shooting without mentioning Al Rashidi, 60-year
Mm-hmm.
old shooting 60 on 60. वो देखा तूने वो
Mm-hmm.
इवेंट कि वो मिस हो गए
हाँ
थे
वो
उसके.
देखा था, नहीं देखा था वो मैंने.
It's
It
still
was good.
amazing, huh?
It was amazing.
And
वही है,
even
I agree. I think you had only tweeted on any other day,
yeah, yeah.
58 out of 60 would have fetched you a gold for sure.
आराम से मतलब और आई हैव सीन स्कीट इवेंट्स पहले मतलब यू सी द अदर शूटर्स ओनली राइट. चाइना था दे मतलब द बोथ ऑफ देम at elimination point they always had I think like 3 or 4 points above the next guy except for maybe the first elimination or the पहले एक आधे elimination को छोड़ के once you got in so it's not like you get scores like 58 and 60. Scores
Yeah.
are more like even winners के लिए like 54 55 उस टाइप के स्कोर्स होते हैं. यू डू गेट मिसेस एंड थ्रू आउट द फाइनल आई वाज सिटिंग एंड आई वाज वंडरिंग फॉर बोथ ऑफ देम कि कब तक ये मारेंगे, मिस होगा कब तक ये मारेंगे, होगा कभी तो होगा, कब तक ये मारेंगे. मतलब इट वाज बिकमिंग इट इज गोइंग टू गुड, इट कांट गो सो गुड. एंड देन
Mm.
इवेंचुअली आनंद मिस्ड वन लेकिन रशीदी जस्ट केप्ट गोइंग. इट वाज अनबिलीवेबल.
I think he qualified as a
Sixth. He qualified
as
sixth.
top in mixed also. I'm not sure if he medaled in the mixed. Do you know
Okay.
that?
नहीं, I'm
Because
not
मैंने
sure.
क्वालिफिकेशन में देखा था वो and his partner were on the top of the mixed qualification.
बट अगर मिक्स क्वालिफिकेशन में टॉप में तो फिर गोल्ड मेडल मैच में जाते हैं सीधा, तो सिल्वर तो मिनिमम है ही, तो मेडल तो
Mm.
है ही. But yeah,
Right.
but in the actual men's kit individual event, he was sixth in fact qualification में.
Okay.
But ठीक है यार.
Yeah.
एंड ग्रेट इवेंट, वो इवेंट देखने में भी बहुत मजा आया.
अच्छा था. Right. Right.
ठीक
Cool.
है. Yeah, apparently we
Okay.
have 100
What
views as
else?
well. That's good.
Mm.
100
Yeah.
views हुए. गाइस स्ट्रीम लाइक भी कर दो. हाँ, एक बात बोल देना चाहिए. ठीक है. चलो फिर शूटिंग के आगे आई थिंक you want to talk about squash? I think because at least today I enjoyed squash the most.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Even I could see a few. I think I saw both. So क्या कहते हैं, सौरभ का तो पूरा मैच देखा ही था. It was
hmm,
great the way he came back after losing
hmm.
that close set.
third
और
third
पहला
game
वाला,
हाँ.
हाँ, अबे का भी टिट्स एंड बिट्स में थोड़ा बहुत मैं देख पाया था. तो यार, it was good.
सौरभ का मैंने मतलब स्क्वॉश मैंने आज देखा पूरा. टुडे टुडे इनफैक्ट आई थिंक वाज मे बी अ बेस्ट डे ओवरऑल. आई मीन आई
Hmm.
डोंट नो इफ आई एम मिसिंग समथिंग बट आई थिंक ओवरऑल आज वी हैड अ बेस्ट डे. द ओनली डिसअपॉइंटमेंट टुडे फॉर मी वाज एक ठीक है यू कैन से स्वप्निल का 7.6 वाज अ डिसअपॉइंटमेंट. बट उसके अलावा द ओनली रियल डिसअपॉइंटमेंट वाज द मेंस डबल्स टेनिस टीम नॉट बीइंग एबल टू गेट द गोल्ड. बट उसके
Hmm.
अलावा वी काइंड ऑफ वन एवरीवेयर.
Yeah.
I know you'll add Himanshi Malik as well, but from a medal perspective, at least it was a pretty good day. तो
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about
वो
her
उसको
when
उसको
we
हाँ we'll
discuss it.
talk about her. Yeah,
Yeah.
and squash में it was like it kind of the narrative changed in 2 days. So it's like yesterday or day before yesterday, whenever we had that India Pakistan match, it's like ठीक है we fought hard. It was a very hard fought match, and that match was also good to watch. लेकिन eventually your feeling always was like हारना नहीं चाहिए था यार. ठीक है, it was
Yeah.
we should have taken the win there. And then you came to today, and it's like I was definitely thinking कि we are the underdogs here, even though we are
Yeah.
apparently the top seeds. मैंने इनफैक्ट कल जाके रैंकिंग्स भी देखी थी. So मलेशिया आई थिंक ओवरऑल थोड़ा अपने से करंट रैंकिंग्स में थोड़ा आगे ही है. फॉर एग्जांपल
Even Saurav, he's like world number 19, so he was facing against world number 18.
एग्जैक्टली. सो सौरभ का भी, एंड अबेज आई थिंक समवेयर इन वर्ल्ड नंबर 60s, एंड महेश जो थर्ड प्लेयर होता वाज इन 80s. सो
Uh,
आई थिंक मलेशिया अराउंड अबाउट देयर ही है, नॉट टू हाई, लेकिन मतलब I checked the rankings yesterday and I felt, especially given how we are playing, Malaysia is only probably the favorite. And then आज आया and the entire narrative changed where Malaysia को तो हमने essentially धो डाला almost. They fought back in that last game जहाँ पे सौरभ का वो third game जाके fourth game he had to fight back again. But वो fourth
yeah,
game भी was very easy eventually, what 11-4, 11-5, something like
yeah.
that. So overall देखा जाए तो मलेशिया को हमने kind of धो डाला, and वहाँ पे पाकिस्तान
The
ने ऊपर को हरा
Malaysian
दिया. ऊपर
Malaysian was
पाकिस्तान ने,
hitting some really nice winners though in that third game.
yeah. Mm. He kind of got into a nothing to lose position, right? So his winners came out. But yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing was, even Pakistan beat Hong Kong. So now the narrative becomes ke it's just that maybe Pakistan is underranked or underrated. It's not like ke we were bad. We are playing just Pakistan का level high हो गया है, which is not
कब है
reflecting in
फाइनल,
the
कब है कल?
final कल है, and it is India versus Pakistan. And did you watch, by the way, the group stage match, India versus Pakistan?
ग्रुप स्टेज?
जो
हॉकी?
स्क्वॉश, नहीं नहीं स्क्वॉश,
हॉकी तो कल है.
नहीं नहीं स्क्वॉश, स्क्वॉश का जो
हाँ
ग्रुप स्टेज.
स्क्वॉश, नहीं नहीं, आई डिडंट.
हाँ, तो उसका जो स्पेशली जो थर्ड गेम था ना, इट वाज हेवीली हीटेड, नॉट बिटवीन प्लेयर्स, बट सॉर्ट ऑफ बिटवीन प्लेयर्स, बट मेनली बिटवीन द प्लेयर्स एंड द अंपायर्स. इट्स लाइक एवरी पॉइंट के बाद दोनों प्लेयर अंपायर के ऊपर चिल्ला रहे थे भयंकर. फुल
हाँ,
चिल्लम चिल्ली चालू थी.
that's bit of a usual scene in squash anyways.
नहीं, बट
तो
इट
वो
वाज बियॉन्ड एनीथिंग. आई नो इट्स अ
डिस्प्यूट
यूजुअल
करते
सीन.
रहते
I understand कि it's a usual scene, मैंने भी काफी स्पॉट्स देखा है, बट दैट उसका बियॉन्ड था. मतलब इट्स लाइक एवरी पॉइंट के बाद देयर वाज अ लॉट ऑफ फाइट, एंड एकदम लैंग्वेज आल्सो, मतलब द टोन हैड बिकम हेवियर. It's like umpire was in a match of his own. So I don't know if tomorrow, when it's even elevated with the gold medal on
Yes, of course, it has to
uh,
be. I mean, obviously, it's a revenge match as well for Indians, so they will be
yeah, so it's
going
gonna
all
be,
out for gold. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, Sandeep is saying that guy Zaman was the first guy, Noor Zaman. He played very well against Abhay, and I think he even won his match today. And उसकी ranking, I don't think it's nearly there anywhere. काफी नीचे ही है. तो it's like Noor Zaman, yeah, he played very well, and he is sort of dangerous because second match में सौरभ तो had destroyed their number one player. क्योंकि सौरभ का level में, or maybe he just had a bad day, whatever it is.
Hmm.
But Saurav had a
Well,
very
going
commendable
by
match.
today's match, he looks in good shape.
Hmm.
He looks in good form and मतलब बहुत ही कंसिस्टेंट बेसिक लेवल पे ऑपरेट कर रहा है. इवन दो द मलेशियन वाज यू नो डूइंग अ लॉट ऑफ विनर्स, ही हैड अ वेरी बेसिक लेवल ऑफ गेम, नॉट कमिटिंग एनी एरर्स.
Hmm.
रीच बहुत ब्रिलियंट थी उसकी. ही वाज रीचिंग आउट टू ऑल द फोर कॉर्नर्स ऑफ
Yeah,
द कोर्ट.
and very few errors also, which you pointed out. Yeah,
या.
so big match tomorrow. मजा आएगा. Looking forward to it. There is only one problem with it, कि it clashes with Mirabai Chanu tomorrow. But ठीक है,
ओ
काम
मीरा,
चलेगा.
मीरा गोज इन टुमारो. वाओ.
Yeah, so that is the other part.
कूल. चलो ठीक है. आई आई थिंक इट्स इजीली फ्लिप करके देखा जा सकता है, ऐसा
हाँ,
कुछ
वो तो
नहीं है.
ठीक है, मतलब फोकस से देखने में मजा आता है. उसके
ओके,
अलावा
व्हाट एल्स? हॉकी?
बॉक्सिंग ले ले. हॉकी लेना पहले कि बॉक्सिंग ले लें? हॉकी तो ठीक
जो
है.
मर्जी.
बॉक्सिंग ले लेते हैं पहले, आई थिंक.
बॉक्सिंग में ज्यादा है क्या बोलने के लिए?
मेन तो आज का ही है. परवीन का मैच देखा?
शी डिडंट इवन, हाँ परवीन ठीक है.
हाँ, वो ठीक
मैं
है.
आई वाज
निखत
टॉकिंग
ओके.
अबाउट निकत. तो
चल, निखत पहले
एक
बोल लेते
मिनट
हैं
भी
यार.
नहीं
निखत
चलने दिया उसने तो मैच.
निखत ने तो यार पूरा धो डाला है. मतलब चल ही क्या रहा है. इट्स लाइक शी ऑलरेडी हैज हैड अ टफ मैचेस, एंड मतलब ठीक है. अपेरेंटली द नेक्स्ट अपोनेंट आई थिंक थाईलैंड की है, राइट? हु इज द ओनली वन हु ट्रबल्ड निखत अ
निकत इन वर्ल्ड
लिटिल बिट इन द
चैंपियन.
वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप. बट ठीक है
बट या
आज तो.
वी आल्सो नीड टू टेक इनटू अकाउंट इट वाज अ ओपोनेंट फ्रॉम जॉर्डन.
हाँ हाँ, वो तो आज तो मतलब ये सिचुएशन थी. इट्स लाइक के दे बेसिकली कट द स्क्वाश टू स्टॉप द स्क्वाश टू मूव टू द निखत मैच. ओके. व्हाट डिड आज मतलब स्क्वाश चल रहा था तब आई थिंक बीच में निखत का मैच आया था एंड आई एम लाइक ठीक है निखत का मैच देखना है मुझे दैट्स ग्रेट बट ओके ये होपफुली इट गेट्स ओवर सून आई जीत भी जाए एंड गेट बैक टू स्क्वाश क्विकली एज वेल सो आई वाज
Hmm.
होपिंग फॉर अ फर्स्ट राउंड नॉकआउट कि ये फर्स्ट राउंड में नॉकआउट होगी and it was expected. So yeah, Nikat, and by the way, she already has the Paris quota as well. So Nikat is
Yeah,
competing on a different level.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. What about Parveen?
yeah, Parveen was the
You saw
surprise
that?
today.
Hmm.
हाँ मतलब मैंने डिलेड देखा अनफॉर्चुनेटली आई वाज स्पॉइल्ड सो थोड़ा उसमें बायस आ जाता है लेकिन या शी बेसिकली राइट फ्रॉम द बेल ना शी उस पे भारी हो गई चाइना के ऊपर शी वॉज डोमिनेटिंग एंड या इट हैड गॉट टू द पॉइंट वेयर चाइना इज लाइक हेड तो मिल नहीं रहा है थोड़ा बॉडी मार लो थोड़े तो पॉइंट कमा लो एंड शी वॉज यू नो इवन शी हैड अ स्क्वैगर एंड शी वॉज जस्ट कनेक्टिंग एवरीथिंग इट्स लाइक शी डिडंट लीव इट एनीथिंग इन द जजेस हैंड्स के मतलब ठीक है इफ यू नाउ give this to China then it becomes that massive Sarita Devi type robbery or maybe a little less maybe not that
Hmm.
level but yeah if
It
you
was a comprehensive win. It
yeah
was
yeah especially the
Parveen
first two
was
rounds
clear winner.
third round
Hmm.
mein once she already had 2018 on the scorecards third round mein she relaxed a little bit especially
Hmm.
in the first half उसमें भी finish अच्छा किया finish में again she turned it on but yeah third
Yeah.
round के starting में she relaxed a little bit but yeah first two rounds and especially the first round it looked really comprehensive
So
and
can expect a quota from her as well, right? Considering
yes
Uzbek
quota for sure and I
women
actually
boxers.
and I checked also. I checked the World Championship results. So China, I guess Chinese also is not the best Chinese boxer. She is not
Hmm.
like मतलब this
Yeah, the thing
category is
is, the Chinese have always had a brilliant boxer, especially in this category and higher categories, right?
hmm,
So one school of thought is if she's, coming up the ranks representing China as their number one boxer, so obviously she would have come through a tough competition.
so I was saying that only. कि I think this is not China's best category also. Not just
Earlier it used to be, na?
earlier का
Like
पता नहीं
earlier
मतलब
years. Huh.
maybe. I just saw from the World Championship results. So World Championship maybe China lost early. I think they lost early to like Puerto Rico, but ठीक है, that Puerto Rico boxer is a good boxer. Don't
Hmm.
consider कि Puerto Rico से हारी. So she lost to like Puerto Rico, then I think Puerto Rico then lost 4-1 to somebody else, and that somebody else eventually beat the Indian. And they were all 4-1 results. So it's like
Hmm.
she is good, but मतलब it वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप रिजल्ट देख के मेरे को लगा कि चाइना की मे बी इट्स नॉट वन ऑफ द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट कैटेगरीज
Hmm.
बट या ठीक है इट्स स्टिल
Yeah.
चाइना एंड
In,
इट्स
in general, Chinese women boxing team is
hmm,
pretty strong. So that way
yeah
is.
yeah and exactly and the next round is against Uzbekistan and I think definitely Parveen should come through unless
Hmm.
मतलब the Uzbek is some unknown quantity which I am not aware of but
Yeah, the only thing is she has had a win in Asian Championship once, so that's the only thing that shows on her resume. But it
who's
also
the
came in.
Uzbeks boxers
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's the Asian champion from 21.
okay
But
the
then
Uzbek boxer
20, right.
अच्छा
But
okay
then 21 again was a COVID mad
COVID
year.
year
You don't
हाँ
know how many boxers entered, how many did not. So,
hmm. ठीक है सो मतलब ओके इफ यू आर सेइंग एशियन चैंपियन देन इट्स डेफिनेटली नॉट दैट इजी जितना
hmm,
मैं सोच रहा था मतलब शी हैज समथिंग ऑन हर रेज्यूमे क्योंकि वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप में तो कोई और गई थी सो इसलिए आई
hmm.
डेंट गेट अ फीलिंग के क्या हो रहा है ठीक है एंड उसके
Okay.
बाद बाय द वे इफ शी गेट्स थ्रू देन इन द सेमीफाइनल शी अपेरेंटली हैज आइदर ताइपे और थाईलैंड
Hmm,
एंड ताइपे का तो अलग अजब ही कंट्रोवर्सी हुआ हुआ है कि वो दिल्ली वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप में शी वन अ ब्रॉन्ज and then she got stripped of the bronze
hmm.
because of gender test issues.
Oh, okay.
तो उसका तो अलग ही कंट्रोवर्सी हुआ है तो वहां पे क्या होगा वो
Yeah.
तो पता ही नहीं
And वो भी देखा, I think you also saw that picture. So Devendra was there in that Nikhat
या
picture, which was amazing to see. He's into coaching now. पढ़ा था मैंने एक दो साल पहले that he's joined the coaching along with so I think Surunjoy ने पहले join किया था and Devendra later on followed, right? So yeah, good to see him in the coaching camp.
agreed
Always.
yeah and I think we'll just add कि men boxing में obviously एक तो यार we have lost two matches to Kyrgyzstan Lakshay also lost and Shiva also lost Plus,
Mm.
Deepak obviously had a very tough fight against the
The
bantamweight world champion, and it was a
Japanese.
very interesting, fast-paced fight. But वही
Yeah.
बात है, unfortunately again came up short.
Just
So
going by the body language right from the first minute,
hmm.
I think it was a he looked like a clear winner.
हाँ
He
मतलब
came in confident.
the Japanese really had a swagger, and Deepak
uh,
मतलब looked like ठीक है. You can say कि अब swagger का
थोड़ा
कितना फर्क
अंडरवेल्म था.
हाँ मतलब you can say कि swagger का कितना फर्क पड़ता है I don't know, but
I think it does influence that. That is why if you see a lot of times boxer also keep on raising their hands or
हाँ
keep on doing some antics to kind of influence the decision making of judges. तो वो थोड़ा तो रहता है body language का.
हाँ बट आई विल जस्ट से कि मतलब बॉडी लैंग्वेज की वजह से डिफरेंस में भी थोड़ा ज्यादा लगा अदरवाइज इट वाज अ वेरी वेरी क्लोज फाइट सो
Uh,
if you focus more on the body language then yes the Japanese look like cool, let's say, whereas
yeah.
Deepak look like very serious and very just focused and everything but
So let's say if Nikhat wins the Asian Games gold,
hmm,
so I mean there's nothing left for her to win as such, right? She obviously
Olympics
starts as complete तो करने दे.
hmm,
He obviously starts as a Olympic favorite, right?
yeah
She
मतलब
has to start. I mean, it's
yeah
not like in shooting, but इसमें तो she is going to be a ultimate favorite.
yeah फेवरेट तो होगी पॉइंट उसमें बस वही आ जाता है इवेंचुअली इट्स बॉक्सिंग सो you don't know how much the favorite tag carries, especially when you have all these issues going on with AIBA and there are not that many tournaments happening. तो वो भी एक थोड़ा फैक्टर आ जाता है बट या
थोड़ा सा मेरे को निखत को लेके ये भी लग रहा है लाइक इफ यू सी फ्रॉम अ ब्रॉडर एंगल शी इज स्लाइटली गोइंग अंडर द रडार स्टिल. नॉट मेनी
है
नो हर. अगर
अच्छा
नॉर्मली कैजुअल या इफ यू आर टॉकिंग टू समवन हु वॉचेस स्पोर्ट्स
हम्म
अ लिटिल बिट एंड इफ यू आस्क हिम और हर तो
हम्म
इतना नहीं पता अभी भी. मतलब मेन स्ट्रीम में शी इज स्टिल नॉट दैट पॉपुलर. तो
ओके
मतलब my thing is maybe till Paris also she's already grabbed a quota. There is not much coming for her to be in the news. So I think Paris may directly she will still be slightly under not so much limelight. So might as well be an advantage for her.
ठीक है ओके आई डिडंट गेट दैट फीलिंग बट ओके बट
Yeah,
हाँ
you when you talk to other people and office में in
हम्म
your locality and stuff, so वहाँ से थोड़ा बहुत you actually get to know.
the AG gold itself might change that I don't know if it will
हाँ, perhaps, yes. Commonwealth में जैसे a few people got to know her.
हाँ तो वही the AG gold itself might change that अगर प्रोवाइडेड शी गेट्स इट ऑब्वियसली हम लोग ऐसे बात कर रहे हैं कि गोल्ड आ ही गया
Right.
है हाँ
चलो ठीक है. Next sport.
क्या लेना है टेनिस बैडमिंटन कर लेते हैं आई थिंक कंबाइंड ही कर लेते हैं
हाँ,
टेनिस
बैडमिंटन में तो क्या
हाँ
ही है बोलने
बैडमिंटन में
के
तो
लिए.
ठीक है कुछ
Pretty
खास बोलने
evident, obvious.
हाँ दी ओनली थिंग इज मतलब बिग मैच टुमारो इंडिया कोरिया एनी कमेंट्स
India, Korea. So obviously, everything depends on singles because
नहीं चिराग
one,
सत्विक कैन ऑल्सो विन वहाँ पे भी एक पॉइंट है
if you let me complete, the
हाँ
first doubles we start as 50-50 only.
हम्म,
We don't start as favorites
हम्म,
because Koreans are the defending world champions.
राइट
We start as 50-50. The other double teams, Koreans start as favorites.
क्लियर
But all the three singles, we start as favorites.
I mean, I would have said under normal circumstances, we would have definitely been the favorites. The only thing is, the Korea has come after defeating Malaysia and Indonesia, and their singles
Right.
players have also done very well.
Are doing good. Yes, absolutely.
So, matlab it's a bit of a very questionable thing कि पता नहीं क्या होगा. It's difficult to predict,
Uh,
at least मेरे लिए.
right. See, my only thing is, and usually ऐसा होता है. If tomorrow the first MS1 is Pranoy,
Hmm,
so it will be his first match, and that too a very crucial match.
hmm,
Usually for a bigger tournament, even more so when you're entering a tournament after some gap,
hmm,
तो वो फर्स्ट मैच थोड़ा सा क्रिटिकल होता है बिकॉज यू get some you have to get into the rhythm and you take some time, right? Usually काफी ज्यादा बैडमिंटन में जो अपसेट्स होते हैं वो फर्स्ट राउंड में ही हो जाते हैं वेयर इट इज अ क्लोज टफ फाइट. ठीक है. सो दैट इज माय ओनली वरी कि प्रणॉय हैजंट had a match practice as such. Directly he'll be there and if he's going to be play that first match तो वो काफी critical होने वाला है. because Koreans have played a couple of matches, a couple of good matches.
Hmm.
They have also won those. They are, in the momentum, whereas Pranoy is just starting off.
Yeah, and the counter of that is always hopefully maybe fatigue comes in.
दो मैच के बाद क्या फटीग है? These guys play
हाँ
on
बट
the trot 5-6 days,
वो भी
right?
ठीक है। हाँ बट फिर भी देवर हार्ड फॉट मैचेस, बट हाँ ठीक है, वो बात भी तेरी सही है कि 2 मैच के बाद इतना क्या ही फटीग है। लेकिन आई थिंक लक्ष्य का ओपोनेंट इज प्रॉब्ली द वन इन फॉर्म। आई थिंक ही इज वन बोथ हिज मैचेस।
Okay.
प्रणॉय का
Do
ओपोनेंट
do we
एटलीस्ट
have a
लॉस्ट टू
lineup?
गिफ्टिंग टुडे। नहीं मतलब आई एम अज्यूमिंग कि एवरी बोथ विल कम विद देयर मेन टीम्स।
Okay,
मतलब
okay.
जो एक्सपेक्टेड टीम्स अगर पकड़ के चले तो। एंड या
Hmm.
मतलब एंड मैच नहीं था अनफॉर्चुनेटली, देयर वाज नो ब्रॉडकास्ट, बट सिंधु स्ट्रगल्स अनफॉर्चुनेटली स्टिल कंटिन्यू। सो
They do, they do.
या मतलब दे गॉट
Anyways, it was, see, even before this form, she always struggled against
चौचुआंग।
Chochuang, right? So she's had close battles with her. World Championship में ठीक है हराया था 1-2 साल पहले वापस, but she's had a lot of defeats against her. So obviously Chochuang had a upper hand getting into this match, right?
बेसिकली वो फर्स्ट गेम जीत के उम्मीद जगाई थी, लेकिन ठीक है। और आजकल ये भी काफी हो रहा है, मैंने देखा फर्स्ट गेम जीत के हम लोग बाद में 2 हार जाते हैं। हैपेंस मे बी अ
Yeah.
लिटिल विथ मोर रेगुलरिटी, पर ठीक है। आई थिंक चलो जल्दी से आगे बढ़ते हैं। बैडमिंटन के अलावा हॉकी तुझे बात करनी थी, मतलब टेनिस में तो ठीक है।
हॉकी मैंने पहला मैच देखा विमेंस का, so I
चल
was
हॉकी कर लेते
very
हैं, हाँ।
very much delighted. काफी free
द
flowing
सिंगापुर वन राइट, पहला मैच कौन सा है?
आज का
अच्छा आज का तू बोल रहा है, ओके ओके।
पहला मैच देखा तो मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगा देख के, बिकॉज काफी फ्री फ्लोइंग हॉकी था, स्पेशली पहला और दूसरा क्वार्टर अगर देखेगा। सेकंड क्वार्टर में आई थिंक बारिश स्टार्ट हो गई थी, तो वहां से
ओके।
थिंग्स गॉट अ लिटिल स्लोड डाउन, राइट? बट फर्स्ट क्वार्टर वाज फैंटास्टिक, वेयर दे स्कोर्ड 4 goals एंड चारों अलग अलग गोल स्कोरर्स थे। इतनी पॉजिटिव एनर्जी थी, एंड the passing of the ball, the flow of the hockey, the kind of goals they were able to score, everything was almost perfect.
ओके
And I don't think Sabita ने बॉल टच भी की होगी पहले 2 क्वार्टर्स में.
ठीक है।
It was that dominant.
मैंने एक्चुअली ऑनेस्टली प्रॉपर्ली फर्स्ट क्वार्टर ही देखा उसका, बिकॉज देन अदर थिंग्स हैड स्टार्टेड। सो बट या आई वाज गोना आस्क कि 4-4 के बाद फाइनल स्कोर क्या था? 6-0, 7-0?
6-0.
6-0, हाँ। तो मतलब 4-0 फर्स्ट क्वार्टर के बाद 6-0 ही रह गया। आई थॉट मे बी बता देंगे, बट यू आर सेइंग क्योंकि बारिश वारिश चालू हो गई, दैट बिकेम द प्रॉब्लम।
सेकंड में ही यहाँ हो गई थी.
हाँ।
Even though the commentators were also talking about it, that because वो anyways they water the pitch, right? So the one commentator was saying that probably it's better for the players only because it's not a dry pitch any longer.
हम्म,
So then wherein obviously commented that you kind of loosen the grip as well of the hockey stick because it's raining. So
हम्म,
वहां से भी वो थोड़ा सा detrimental हो जाता है.
ठीक है। बट ये हॉकी लार्जली एक्सपेक्टेड लाइंस पे ही जा रहा है।
Yeah.
तूने बोला था प्रीव्यू स्ट्रीम में कि इट शुड बी रिलेटिवली इजी, एंड सो फार इट हैज बीन। होपफुली इट कंटिन्यूज, दैट्स ऑल
Yep,
वी कैन
yep.
से।
The only thing is, I was reading a stat on Twitter earlier today. Despite the team, being so dominant and Malaysian defense being in tatters today, still our penalty conversion ratio is something to be worried about.
वो
So
तो
आज भी we had 13 chances, but we
ओके।
converted only 2.
ओह ओह ओके ओके। आई एक्चुअली इनफैक्ट सॉ ओनली लाइक द फर्स्ट 2-3 पेनल्टी कॉर्नर्स, जिसमें से आल्सो वी हैड वन कन्वर्जन।
Yeah.
इनफैक्ट वन वन था कि टू था, इनफैक्ट मे बी वी कन्वर्टेड बोथ ऑफ देम इन द फर्स्ट क्वार्टर ओनली। हाँ, आई सॉ बोथ द कन्वर्जन आई थिंक।
पहला, हाँ, एक तो पेनल्टी कॉर्नर से ही हुआ था.
और एक वो था ना,
Uh,
वो करके डिफ्लेक्शन करके गेव
हाँ,
बैक टू द
डिफ्लेक्ट
इंजेक्टर, और वहां से डिफ्लेक्ट हुआ था।
डिफ्लेक्ट हुआ था,
और
राइट
एक
राइट
उसने
राइट.
मारा था दीप ग्रे सेक्का ने।
पहले क्वार्टर में.
हाँ हाँ, दीप ग्रे सेक्का ने फ्लिक मारा था ना। कमेंटेटर बोला था कि दीप ग्रे सेक्का नॉर्मली गोस फॉर द स्लैप हिट, बट टुडे शी वेंट फॉर द फ्लिक, सो दैट सरप्राइज द डिफेंस।
एक तो नवनीत ने स्कोर किया था.
हाँ हाँ, वो तो फील्ड गोल ना।
फील्ड गोल था वो भी. एक था कि वो वाइड जा रही थी एंड वो सिर्फ डिफ्लेक्ट होके अंदर कर दिया था, आई
वो
थिंक
ही
इट.
नवनीत वाला था वो, आई
नहीं
थिंक।
नहीं नहीं, इट वाज समवन एल्स. और दैट कुड बी द फिफ्थ गोल आल्सो, आई डोंट
हाँ
रिमेम्बर.
वो फिफ्थ होगा।
चलो छोड़ो, छोड़ो
हाँ
छोड़ो,
बट ठीक है,
फॉरगेट अबाउट.
हॉकी ऑन लार्जली ऑन एक्सपेक्टेड लाइंस। टेनिस में ऑब्वियसली बिग अपसेट तो पहले ही हो गया था, बट आई गेस टेनिस ठीक है। अगर कल गोल्ड आ जाता है तब ठीक है, बट अदरवाइज overall it's been a little disappointment, but ठीक है, tennis has been on the downside. We know that for quite a
Yeah,
while. आज का
yeah.
मैच was definitely disappointing. अगर तूने देखा हो तो मतलब it never looked like at least break का chance हमें कभी realistic मिला नहीं. And ठीक है, we were a little unfortunate. वैसे तूने वो stat देखा क्या? In the first set, we lost only 5 points on our own serve. But वो 5 में से 4 point was in the same game, तो वो break हो गई.
Oh, okay.
So that is like an mind.
Tennis is a little funny in that sense. These things sometimes happen. तो वो
So it's
पूरा
like
गेम चेंजर हो जाता है.
so that's like a mind boggling stat कैसे 5 पॉइंट हारे जिनमें से 4 पॉइंट एक गेम में थे. बट फिर भी आज का मैच या इट फेल्ट अ लिटिल डिसअपॉइंटिंग टुडे.
Yeah, the only thing I could see is Taipai teams have been in, all the medal matches for
हाँ
doubles.
या
So obviously there is something going on there. They have either prepared well or they are, rising in terms of their tennis system. But yeah, something surely is happening there.
या एंड कल अगेन वापस मिक्स्ड डबल्स ताइपे से है. वी डिफीटेड वन ताइपे टीम टुडे इन द सेमी एंड देन टुमारो इन द फाइनल.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, so hopefully at least we can get one gold, but otherwise tennis definitely has been a bit of a letdown.
Yeah,
We even lost a few close matches. Ankita हार गई and Sumit Nagal also won the first set and then went down. So yeah, थोड़ा tennis has been a disappointing.
yep.
और क्या स्पोर्ट्स है? चेस पीपल वर आस्किंग. सो तुझे कुछ भी पता है? हम्म,
Redundant question पूछता ही क्यों है तू?
नहीं मतलब रिजल्ट तो पता हो सकता है कुछ भी.
नहीं नहीं.
अच्छा.
No, no idea.
या गाइस, या चेस वाज ऑब्वियसली डिसअपॉइंटिंग. मतलब मैंने प्रीवियस शेम में भी बोला था विदित का वही स्टैंडर्ड प्रॉब्लम है कि वंस ही गेट्स इनटू ही ही गेट्स अनबिलीवेबल नंबर ऑफ विनिंग पोजीशंस, लेकिन बस कन्वर्जन रेट इज लाइक वेरी लो. और स्पेशली जब टूर्नामेंट खत्म होने आता है ना, तब इट इवन गेट्स एग्जैजरेटेड. So unfortunately the same thing happened. He was leading after 6 games and then in the last 3 games he went point 0.5 on 3, and that point 0.5 was also against a GM who was rated like 300 points below him. So that was definitely, it was a case of once again why. uh, but ठीक है, it's yeah, and Uzbekistan definitely created a flutter in the women as well. By the way, if you guys don't know, the Uzbek women's player who's like रैपिड में तो शी वाज लाइक 2200. आई थिंक क्लासिकल में शी डज हैव 2300 का रेटिंग एंड शी इज might be close to WGM even though she is officially in WIM. So she actually defeated Zhu Jinner as well today in the classical event. And Uzbekistan women's team actually drew with China 2-2 today. तो उस हिसाब से एटलीस्ट आज का टीम इवेंट वेंट वेल. आज का फर्स्ट डे वेंट वेल. इंडिया वन बोथ इट्स team matches. Gukesh had a wild match where he was winning and then losing and then took out a draw. But yeah, the big surprise today was that the China women's team was held to a 2-2 draw by Uzbekistan, which can be beneficial later. But हाँ, rapid में obviously it's very disappointing. मुझे वो honestly वो second last day पे feeling आ गई थी कि ये fourth और sixth के बीच में रहने वाले हैं. It is gonna get tough because that seventh round was disastrous. जो last round था ना, on the third day, seventh round where Vidit lost, Humpy and Harika both had winning positions, but came up only with a draw. And even though Arjun won, Arjun had already lost in round 6. So yeah, chess, you can't say it was good. You can say a little unlucky के सब fourth, fifth, sixth वैसे आए, but yeah, we would have expected a little better from the individual event. Hopefully, we can deliver in the team. That's all we can say. Yeah, one thing though I will add कि it's like a lot of people think कि chess was in the bag या chess का तो definite gold आना चाहिए था या something. ऐसी definitely बात नहीं थी. मतलब मैंने प्रीव्यू में भी बोला था कि फॉर मी मेन में अब्दुल सत्तार इज द फेवरेट एंड देन देर आर नंबर ऑफ प्लेयर्स competing for the second spot जिसमें मे बी अर्जुन इज स्लाइटली अहेड but it didn't work out. And Beyi took the gold, Abdul Sattarov took the silver. So it's not कि it's a big shock कि हमको medal नहीं मिला. That's just I'll say disappointing, yes, but it's not like it's हाथ का medal चला गया पूरी. वो वाली बात नहीं है chess में. टीम में देखते हैं. And cycling.
Cool. I think cycling ka will maybe talk about tomorrow once we wrap up the entire thing. Just quick last few things about athletics.
हम्म,
ठीक है?
बोलो.
So athletics का वही है, it's been on the expected line so far. Started with race walkers, वो भी expected lines पे था. Uh, we were expected to finish behind both China and Japan. So that's what happened. I think so. मैंने obviously देखा नहीं, but going by the timings, it does look like conditions were slightly थोड़ा सा harsh because nobody did a good time there, both men's as well as women's.
Mm,
Then shot put ka bhi, it was somewhat similar. The two Chinese in the fray would have started as favorite. We were the favorite perhaps to win the bronze. That is what happened. So shot put maybe no surprises there. Men's may I think so. I was expecting one of us to qualify for 400-meter men's. I'm talking about. So there I was expecting one to qualify, which happened, but I thought maybe Anas will also sneak in, but yeah, he could not because there were a couple of better qualifiers than him based on the fastest qualifying time.
I think he was a little
So,
unlucky as well, right? Maybe in a slightly slower heat, just
yeah,
about very small time से उसका miss हुआ.
slightly slower heat as well as he got the innermost lane, which is
हाँ,
always difficult to
yeah.
run that way also. उसी में मेरे को लग रहा था. So the runner who was just beside him, the Bahrainian Osmana,
Mm,
I thought so he is among the top two or top three in terms of the timings in Asian region, right?
mm,
So I thought he's definitely going to qualify, and maybe Anas picks up some pace. You know, usually it happens if someone is ahead of you from the outer lane, so you
mm.
kind of keep a track of him and you pace up your race as well. But वो खुद ही इतना
खुद ही
बेकार
का हाँ
किया, खुद
उसका.
ही क्वालिफाई नहीं कर पाया,
Mm.
तो वो भी थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो गया. बट कोई नहीं. द अनदर थिंग टू note here is both the Sri Lankan runners have qualified for finals. So they seem to be in great shape. So it'll be interesting to see, how we are going to battle it off, not just against Japan, but Sri Lanka as well in the 4x4 relays. Because Sri Lanka, going by just these two runners, they do seem to be in good form. That is one. 400 meters women's में, yes, great run by Aishwarya. अच्छा लगा उसको देख के. The kind of power run she had throughout the entire lap. It was good. Good timings as well for her first run in heats. She did a season best, which is great. Hopefully final में she's able to dip below 52 seconds, which will be good timing for her. Obviously वहाँ पे your Salva Eid Nasser is also there, which is
She was
overwhelmingly
she was not even jogging. Jogging से भी नीचे थी towards the end. Then she saw
right.
Aishwarya coming and at least she got to a jogging level.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah,
almost
she
walking, I think, at the end.
yeah, she does start as a favorite tomorrow.
Mm,
हिमांशी का वही है. I don't know. Obviously, nobody knows, to be fair. Is she injured? Is she out of form? What is going on with her? Why was she, selected at the first place?
mm,
Couldn't she be changed if she was not coming in the form? We had already seen that in the two Grand Prix. I mean, she ran only in the one Grand Prix. I think it was just one only. Maybe I'm wrong here,
mm,
but the one Grand Prix which was organized before Asian Games, which also acted as a trial event, there again she did a 57. It was clear that something is wrong with her. Still, she was selected for the individual run. But yeah, it was very disheartening to see not just her timings but the way she ran also.
Yeah, matlab it looked like she was, and I did notice that she had a brace on her knee as well. So matlab it was
Mm,
very clear that she looked very injured, and it's like,
okay.
वही matlab it didn't even look like she was trying. She was like, I just need to get through the race,
Yeah.
and yeah, मतलब ठीक है. पहले से इंजरी थी तब तो it begs the question के select ही, क्योंकि I was maybe thinking
Only
may
lots of questions around
हाँ
it
वही
actually.
मतलब they'll give the argument कि maybe okay इंजरी ठीक हो गई थी, वहां जाके aggravate हो गई, this that. But yeah, and one thing obviously, I mean, I very difficult to see her in the relay at this point. इस
Yeah,
परफॉर्मेंस
that
के
is
बाद
for
तो
sure.
रिले में नहीं पिक कर सकते.
True.
हम्म. ठीक है, मतलब
So yeah.
एथलेटिक्स तो चालू ही हुआ है अभी.
Mm.
यू वांट टू क्लोज और तुझे स्विमिंग बोलना है? स्विमिंग का लास्ट डे हो गया आज. जस्ट 2 मिनट.
Swimming, yeah, I think swimming का यही है. I mean, I'm yet to, see through the results entirely and analyze कि कहाँ पे we stand in terms of the actual performances. But yeah, overall, it is that it was a good decision that they ultimately sent such a big squad in Asian Games. A lot of swimmers ended up doing their personal bests. We saw lot of national records as well being broken. Overall, it was a great exposure for them. The few top swimmers that we have, from whom we had expectations that they'll make it to the final, that also happened with Sri Hari first, and then Aryan Nehra setting up a national record in 1500 meter. Then, as latest as today, Sajan Prakash qualifying for 200-meter butterfly. Advait Page as well qualifying for 200-meter backstroke, which by the way again is a great time. 2 meters 2 second is a good time in terms of Indian standards. So yeah, overall it's been great. The women swimmers have put up a great show. I hope this is a start of at least the first baby step. I'm sure there must be a few things going on at the backstage, but yes, in terms of a proper multi-game exposure, which our swimmers have lacked over the past editions, I think now should be a good start where more and more swimmers come to the forefront and participate in Commonwealth Games, participate in Asian Games, because this is where the entries are with Swimming Federation of India's hand only. World Championship, Olympic, you have to qualify,
क्वालिफाई.
right? So yeah, hopefully this continues. Yeah, that's what my basic thoughts are around
So
swimming.
so largely happy with swimming in short.
Yes, largely happy.
ठीक है. Yeah, उसके अलावा I'll just say one thing. मतलब the one slight disappointment for me in the games not has been के we are not getting broadcast of games like basketball and handball. मतलब basketball में we have actually our women basketball team has actually won 2 matches, and handball maybe we tied one match. आज China से we narrowly lost by like 37-30 something. Even our 3x3 basketball team narrowly lost टुडे टू चाइना. तो मतलब बास्केटबॉल हैंडबॉल में मतलब ज़्यादा देखा नहीं है, लेकिन रिजल्ट वाइज इट वाज जस्ट अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ अ थोड़ा पॉजिटिव फीलिंग आई थी. होपफुली वी गेट टू सी समथिंग. बट या, एंड डेविड बेकम डिड वेरी वेल, वो मैंने ट्वीट मारा ही था.
Oh yes, yes, he did. Although semi-final में, I don't know, they were trying to strategize something
कुछ
which
तो
did
साथ
not
में
work
करने की
out.
कोशिश कर रहे थे. हाँ, आई डिड
Right.
वेरी
हाँ,
क्लियरली कि
दोनों
दोनों
क्या
को.
फिफ्थ सिक्स है ना दोनों.
हाँ हाँ, फिफ्थ एंड सिक्स और मे बी फोर्थ एंड सिक्स, बट या नहीं, फिफ्थ एंड सिक्स ही थे आई थिंक.
फिफ्थ एंड सिक्स थे बिकॉज बीच में वो हाइलाइट्स में दिखा रहे थे ना, द ताइपाई गाय हैड अ लिटिल पुश टू बेकहम. So I
हाँ
was hoping कि maybe there is something disqualification funda
हाँ.
which happens in cycling and he gets disqualified, our guy gets pushed up.
नहीं नहीं.
पर तब मैंने देखा था वो फिफ्थ एंड सिक्स ही थे.
अरे उसमें तो फिर तू वैसे बोलेगा ना, इन द प्रीवियस काइरन राउंड Esau literally bumped into another cyclist.
हाँ, I saw there was a warning symbol against
Yeah,
his
so
name
that
in the
was
result.
that was the reason for the warning. He literally just ran into another cyclist, and both of them went out of the race. It was the first round, and then both of them went into the repechage. I don't know दूसरी cyclist का क्या हुआ, but Esau came through the repechage. But in
Hmm.
general, जहाँ तक मुझे पता है, they don't stop Kairin because they kinda expect के Kairin में होते हैं ऐसे पंगे, and it's like every rider is responsible के stay away. Otherwise मतलब ये warning ही होके हो जाता है, जहाँ तक मुझे पता है.
Yeah.
Unless you actually do it deliberately, तो फिर बात अलग है. टीम स्ट्रैटेजी में, बाय द वे, आई जस्ट ऐड वन लास्ट पॉइंट. डेविड बेकम का जो रेपेचाज था which got him into the quarterfinals, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that was like a 3-person sprint. Him and two Kazakhs, and only one person gets through.
Mm.
So even the commentator are saying कि are these Kazakhs gonna look at some sort of team strategy, and they were also trying to do something, and despite that David Beckham won. the race.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that was like I enjoyed watching that. I'll just say that.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of, I mean, I don't know. Still, watching cycling, it does feel that there's a lot to learn
Uh-huh.
because नहीं समझ आता what strategies they are going out for, and how is it different in Kaizen, how is it different in sprint. काफी काफी कुछ सीखना है अभी.
लेकिन देखने में मजा जरूर आता है, मतलब साइकिलिंग इज,
हाँ, it is fun,
और
definitely.
उसमें एक वो फैक्टर भी बहुत है कि इट्स वेरी क्विक, राइट? एवरी एनी इवेंट विच इज वेरी क्विक, जनरली एटलीस्ट मुझे देखने में और मजा आता है.
Mm.
हम्म.
Great,
चल.
good stuff.
या,
Hopefully, tomorrow as well, it's going to be a eventful day.
इट्स अ
But
ह्यूज डे बाय द वे. हाँ, टुमारो मैंने देखा था सब कुछ कल ही है. इट्स लाइक
mm,
स्क्वॉश भी कल है, इंडिया पाकिस्तान हॉकी भी कल है, मीराबाई भी कल है, टेनिस फाइनल भी कल है, बैडमिंटन इंडिया कोरिया कल है. मतलब सब कुछ कल ही है. मीराबाई के साथ बिंदिया रानी भी कल ही है.
सही है.
मैं शेड्यूल बना रहा था, मैं पूरा बनाया नहीं, लेकिन मतलब कल माइट बी द बिजिएस्ट डे.
Good that it came on the weekend.
इट्स नॉट अ कोइंसिडेंस. मतलब
Ah, that is also true.
इट्स नॉट अ
What
कोइंसिडेंस.
coincidence? I mean, when they were scheduling, they didn't have Indian
नहीं नहीं, बट फाइनल्स आते हैं ना,
POV
सो
in mind, right?
नहीं, द
हाँ,
पॉइंट इज
finals है,
फाइनल्स.
ठीक है.
हाँ, और इंडिया पाकिस्तान तो दे डेफिनेटली हैव सोच के शेड्यूल्ड ऑन सैटरडे
Hmm,
हॉकी वाला.
yeah.
चलो.
चलो, ठीक
ठीक
है.
है.
Had a good chat. We'll talk again tomorrow.
या, सो टुमारो ऑलमोस्ट विल ट्राई, राइट?
हाँ हाँ, we will surely come on live. Let's just see 8 p.m., 10 p.m. whenever it is feasible for both of us.
ठीक है. तो चलो फिर कल और बात करेंगे, मे बी अबाउट द फ्यू थिंग्स वी मिस टुडे एंड मेनली अबाउट टुमारो इटसेल्फ. कल बहुत बड़ा दिन है. तो
Yep.
या, थैंक्स अ लॉट फॉर जॉइनिंग गाइस. जाओ
Well,
अभी सो जाओ.
thank you guys. Have a good night. Bye bye.
वेक वेक अप फॉर 5:30 इक्वेस्ट्रियन टुमारो. बाय बाय. किधर गया मेरा एंड स्ट्रीम का बटन? ओके, चलो बाय बाय. या, डन.